We'll start with. Okay, we're recording now. Wait a minute. Okay. We'll do roll call. And Asempico,
Paul St. Armand,
Present.
Paul St. Armand,
present.
Erin Brewster,
Present.
and Maureen Buffy,
Here.
and me here. Okay, did everybody get to read the minutes from
Yes.
the April meeting?
Yeah.
Any changes or deletions and any kind of corrections in the minutes?
No,
All right, can somebody make a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Who said that?
Erin.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? No opposed. Okay, we're back to
Aye.
Arkwright. Oh,
Aye.
okay. We're back to Arkwright Bridge. Since our last meeting, you've all been to see the bridge and its new location. Are there anything anybody want to talk about with that? Any questions or anything?
What would be the next step, Norma, in this?
Well, the next step for
Are you
us would be putting together.
going to contact other historic entities or the river people?
Well, as far as us being a town commission, we have to, in my opinion, and I'm not sure if I'm correct in this or not, that we would be the entity to approach the town with a presentation or whatever. I don't know if any of you have seen that there was an article in the Kent County Times about the bridge and its restoration, but that was more trying a grassroots effort. It's not specifically commission. That was with the Historical Society and looking for people that are in favor of taking on the project of relocating. I would think that we are the liaison between the grassroots effort and the town. Now, does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I guess the problem for all of us is knowing where to start and, how to, is it that the town has to, do we have to put something together for the town in order to get written approval from them before some kind of a campaign is
Well, the
committed?
campaign can start as a grassroots thing, not, and there again, it went, the article was Sandy and myself from the Historical Society's perspective, not the commission's. But it's not really the Historical Society's project. We want it to be a community project with the commission, with the town on all sides of the idea.
So I saved the article in case you didn't. I have it.
Yeah,
So,
okay. Well, Emil had sent it to me
yeah,
and I posted it online.
okay. So in other words, using builder terminology, we would be the general contractor in charge kind of all of these other that we would hope to bring
Well,
in under the
Yeah,
wing.
because this is, in my mind, hard to explain. The grassroots efforts has to be powerful enough for the town to take it seriously, because they're involved, their concerns are money and liability, which they should. It's reasonable that these would be an objection, but they are not going to go out and build the plan, the town fathers or council or whatever. And I'm thinking that's partly where we come in with the grassroots effort. And then we go to the town. Now, as of now, and I had read in the minutes that I was supposed to find the timeline, I haven't gotten an answer to the timeline. Up until now, the town was involved in budget. So I don't know if they're ready for a presentation yet. I'm going to start working on that, but the efforts now, I think, are getting the strength of the community behind it. Am I clear on, am I making myself clear? Sometimes it's like,
I think you're making yourself clear. It's just the next question I have is, what is the latest from the state and when they expect to be removing the bridge from there?
there's still not an answer.
No
I
answer.
had, no, there's still no answer as of this moment, but it's supposed to be before 2025,
Okay,
between 2022 and 2025.
okay. So it's
So
not,
it's in that span.
it's
I mean,
not
it's
like
just,
they've given a date that
No,
in 2020
it's not immediate.
it's coming
It's not
down and,
immediate.
okay,
To me, it's more of a groundwork thing. You know, the strength in numbers, we need the base of people that want to see it preserved. I mean, there's already been comments, oh, rip it down, let's move on, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's
Well-
always those comments, but
also the expense of it. I saw Procaccini's response to your posts about how.
Oh, he always-
expensive this
yeah,
would
he always
be
talks
and
about
how
expense.
negative it was.
right. And, you know, and which everybody has their right to their opinion, and it's about money, yes. That's, it is part of it is about being money. But it seems like that's always the reason why we don't get anything accomplished, because everybody's thinking about the money. There are ways of getting the money that the town doesn't have to pay for it. Other communities do it.
Yep. I know we talked about this before, and anybody else jump in. I don't mean to dominate the questions here, but we talked about before, you know, asking the Patuxent Valley River Authority, authority people and Patuxent Valley Historical Preservation Society and all that. What, how do you go about doing that, Norm? Again, I don't, you've been doing this for a long time, so I defer to you. How do you do that? What do you do?
Well, the article was to get the awareness.
Right.
Which the Times doesn't have a great subscription readership, but it's a beginning, and I put it out on Facebook for people to read, and hopefully people do. Now, I got an email set asking, a woman was asking, if are they going to replace the bridge? Well, I thought we said that in the article. So, it's about replacing the bridge. It's not about repairing it to be vehicular traffic. Again, that is not going to happen. It's about relocating it. And in the article, it also said that it could go anywhere in the country. If somebody else wants it and they come up with a plan, it can go anywhere. But it's the last one of its kind in Rhode Island. It can go anywhere in the state. To me, it should stay here. But from what I see into this, it's going to be restored and located somewhere. What we need from the town is that their backing and a location. That's right now what we need. We need a location. And
So
you
you
also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned we need to build the grassroots support to help sell the case
Yes.
to the town council.
Yes.
What would that be? Is that like a petition with signatures on it? Or like, how do we show the town council that there is community interest in saving it?
Well, you stimulate the interest. I would even like to have a meeting about it to the public. I mean, a lot of people have responded through email and whatever. They say they're interested, but saying and wanting to do the work are two different things.
So I know that I get the email updates from my district representative. I'm wondering if we can so basically take everything that's in the article and summarize it in an email and ask the district chairs to send it out to their mailing list.
That's a
Just as
possibility.
right, and so then that can start building the interest, and then I don't
Right.
know if there's a way we can set up a way for people to go and basically sign their name to say, yes, I want to save the bridge, and if we get X number of names, that's enough proof that it's worth it to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and then I've I've sent information to the council people and the manager, so they have some basic information and they want to know more. But during the budget process, I didn't really press it. And now that there's a budget passed, I'm thinking maybe September of doing a presentation to them. What district are you, Erin?
District 5.
Okay. Okay. So, you know,
So like if we can build interest before the September so that
Right.
more people either attend the virtual
that-
Zoom or the physical meeting to show that they are interested.
I'm hoping by September we have a physical meeting, but who knows? Yeah, we could do that, you know, and do, you know, post some to bring it up to the forefront. And then have, you know, people that are in favor of it.
Norma, again,
Yeah.
is that you're working very hard posting things on Facebook and that, which obviously you're putting a lot of time in on, which I commend you for, and everybody should. So because of that, should we open a Facebook page like, you know, like we have the groups that we belong to? Like,
There is one
there is one for the bridge?
on the Arkwright Bridge. On the bridge? I
Yeah.
think you're on the
That's what I'm
bridge. Yeah,
saying.
I made one, but up till now, and I haven't opened it up to the public. Right now, up till now, it was just private. I was waiting for when we were gonna start
Sure.
moving forward. So I've invited some people to it. But now I'm gonna open it up so that other people see it. Up till now, I didn't really do that because we were waiting to figure out our next steps. While the group is forming a support group, whatever you want to call it, while we are going to present to the town council. At least we'll be building on our numbers with the page. But like Erin said, with our council people, you know, if they would be willing to send out information to their email lists, we could do that too. I've asked all the town council people to write down their questions. You know, what are they looking for? What kind of information are they looking for besides the money? I mean, I know they're always looking for the money. I mean, concerned about the money. But what other questions do they have? So that we can address them in the presentation. But nobody's really, except one, about the money. They're concerned about the money, not just in the moving, but how do they maintain it afterwards? And what other communities have done is they have started nonprofits in support of their bridge. The one in Simsbury, Connecticut is under their Parks and Rec department, but yet it has its own nonprofit entity that raises the funds to keep it in, you know, in shape. I mean, we're at the beginning level. I'm sure there's going to be a lot we learn as we go along. But I can understand their concerns about the maintenance of it afterwards, but it's not going to need the same maintenance as it would if cars were going over it. There's a lot of, go ahead.
Biggest maintenance probably is the painting of it. We can't even get a bridge crossing 117 that has the town logo on it painted.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And I'm not trying to be a smart ass.
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
But I know, you know, those are the kind of things, now that you say it, that they're looking at and worrying about, in which we would, in the whole scheme of things, need to be ready to address.
Well, exactly.
What other places have done. You know, again, I'm just confirming what you're saying, and that
Yeah.
there's a long process to this and a lot of information that has to be gathered in order to do it. But I think
Right.
your Facebook page that you've created is a good way to generate people saying that they're willing to, you know, commit to helping or whatever with time or effort or something like that too. So if you have something on there where they can, you know, do that and say, hey, you know, we really like this idea and we're willing to
Yep.
help. So,
Because they do have money, from what I've been told, they do have money to dismantle it and take it away. And there are grants, I've been told, that we could apply for to have it rebuilt, restored and rebuilt somewhere else, which is only part of the problem. You have to have a place for it to go. And that's what I'm trying to get from the town, but I don't seem to get an answer as to where it would go. Everybody talks about the money, which is important, but it's not the only thing.
no, it's a big project, so they're, you know, they're going to be leery of it. So,
And it's nothing that's we've done before, but that doesn't mean it's impossible.
no, definitely not.
So, any other questions? So we'll work on trying to build that base. I'll make that Arkwright Bridge page open to other people. Because like I said, until we were ready to move forward, I didn't want to put it out there, but now that it's been in the paper and whatever, we'll put the page out and make it public. Now, I know I invited some of you to that page.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about Erin, because I don't think you're my Facebook friend.
I don't do Facebook, so.
Oh, you
that's
don't use
totally
it?
like
Okay.
by me.
I didn't invite you because you're not on it. Okay. But anyway, I'm gonna put it out there, but we can do, it's not just Facebook. It's like what Erin says, if we could get our council people to put it out there on their email lists and whatever, we could do that too.
Yeah, I mean, when you listen to the town council meetings, there's a lot of, when people ask their questions at the end, it's a lot like, how can I get more information about what's going on? And I know that the town has a lot of, they have the website, they have the Facebook page, they have the emails that go out. They're doing everything they can. So if we can tap into all of those communication
Exactly.
flows,
Yeah.
just to say, does anyone want to save this bridge? If you do, raise your hand, because we
Now's
need
the
hands,
time.
or else we're not going to be able to save it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, see, if people think we want to save it where it is, no, it's not it's not going to stay there. That's already decided. That's not our decision. It's not going to stay there.
And that's what makes this such a big daunting project, is that they're not
Exactly.
leaving it in place like some other, like the one in Connecticut and stuff where it was, you know,
Exactly.
able to stay there. Moving it and creating the support structure and everything else for it to go on and then reassembling it is a big deal. So people get nervous of that. Not, again, I'm in the building business, so, you know, it doesn't affect me in terms of the way I look at it the same way. It's a design and build process, so it can be done with, but it's obviously going to require a lot of convincing to the powers that be.
And if they're going to be taking it down between 23 and 25, we've got time to get and put it together. It's the gathering of information right now of what we're doing. It's not happening right away.
I know you want to move on to something else, but just one last question. Are you still thinking, Norma, of the location that you talked about in Harris? That
Yes.
we looked at? I mean, I think you showed everybody that, correct? But anyway, because I really like that location over there.
Well, one of the good things about it down there, and you know, not everything's perfect. People swim off that bridge. They won't be able to swim on it. Swim off of it once it moves down river. The river won't be deep enough for anybody to jump off. If you jump off, you're nuts. Because the river down below is not, unless there's a flood. Down below a dam, there's not a whole lot of water to jump into. And it would be below the Harris Dam.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Anything else? Is that it for Arkwright for the moment? I'm sure we'll talk about it again. We're going to be talking about this bridge for a long time. The next thing, the pink granite, Paul, do you have anything on that? I know you talked about it going to Anthony.
I don't have something drawn out for you on it, and I apologize, but my business, I've been so busy for the
Okay,
past, month and a half, and it just has consumed my time. I know I need to deal with that for you.
Yep.
I haven't talked to you because we didn't have the meeting last time,
right.
but I know there's something to do with grant money or something like that.
Yeah, well, I've got that state grant under new business. At the end of the summer is usually when these local community grants are coming up. You have to file for them in September. So I thought that or something else, if somebody thinks of something else for a grant, but Coventry
Yep. But when do you
qualifies.
have to put that in by?
I think in September, but it's a matching grant, so whatever we would get, we have to come up with the other half. But
Yep.
still, I mean, it's worth applying for. Champlin, we can't apply for Champlin. They don't take municipal applications anymore, so we can't apply for Champlin. And they changed their date, it's July 1st, I think, but we can't apply for them for this anyway. So
Right.
if we can have it, that we can at least apply for this state grant.
Yep.
You know,
Okay. I will try and work on that between now and our next meeting.
yeah, because I looked that up and to see what the dates were, and it says late summer is when they open up the application process for that specific state grant.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not, they're gonna take me that long to do, once I get the site plan blown up to scale and stuff like that for it, because it's pretty straightforward and simple, but I need to do it graphically and go down there. Like the pictures that I have were for me to just think through the thing, but I've got to go down and take a couple more of the area where I think it should go, where it's enough of a slope in the ground on the right, standing in front of that area on the right side, so that I can kind of use, some computer magic to put that in there on the picture, to draw it in. So,
And then we need to talk to Parks and Rec, because that's their responsibility, that property.
I know they're worried about maintenance on their part, but this thing, I mean, using the granite and doing it the way we're doing it is not going to increase the maintenance for them down there. Other than if you say that you got to use a weed whacker around it, that takes a minute to do or something, but it's not something that's, because it's the granite, it's not a maintenance thing,
No,
so.
it's not like plants that you have to take care of or whatever. Okay. Does anybody else have any granite questions or responses? No. Okay, village signs. We've talked about village signs before, and Maureen suggested something yesterday. What was that? Brown signs? Maureen?
Yeah, I think that's what they call the program. The state calls that program of those signs, that's what they call it, is the brown signs.
Is that because they're brown?
DOT.
Are they
Yeah, I
brown?
guess.
Oh, all right.
Yes, yep.
So you apply for them at DOT?
I
Through
don't
DOT?
remember. Yeah, he gave me the instructions in the email, although he did say that it had been a number of years since anybody applied for those brown signs. So I guess basically you have to prove that your project meets the criteria, the historic preservation criteria, or significant interest or historical impact to qualify. And then you submit your application, and then they review it to see if your project meets the criteria. And then if you meet the criteria, they would issue you, excuse me, I'm going to take my earbuds out. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay. They, yeah, so, I'm not sure, I'd have to reread what the criteria is, but basically, I guess you have to demonstrate that you, the area that you want to mark off is significant enough to qualify for this program. But then it sounds like if you are, it sounds like they make up the signs for you. And then I guess there are, the other issue would be, and I don't know if this is part of that project, but who determines, like if you're talking about along a state road, does the Department of Transportation have to get involved and determine where is a safe place to install the sign? I'm not sure. We didn't get to that far yet. But I'm just thinking that that might be an issue where, like, if you're talking about something along Route 117, that being a state road,
Right.
maybe the Department of Transportation has to get involved in determining where those signs go.
Pays for the signs.
I think that the way that it sounds like in the program is if you qualify, it sounds like maybe they give them to you for free. I know that's how it works. That's how the historical cemetery signs work. We don't pay for that. There's federal money that the state gets, and then the when the sign shop opens up, people to request signs, and they approve it, and then when they get as many as they can fulfill, then they and the process takes months, and then but there's not an application process for that, so I guess that's maybe more obvious or demonstrated, but I'd have to look at it again. But I think he even sent, I think Jacob, I think he sent a link for more information about that program. So yeah, so it's definitely a matter, it does sound like it's a matter of demonstrating what the historical significance for each village is. And then he also talked about historic district, different levels of historic districts or historic registers and like that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit more involved than me just like reading through it once.
Because not every village is on the National Register.
Right. So I don't know if there's other criteria that qualify them, or if there has to be some significant piece of history or structure within that village to qualify. I have to look at it again. I don't know if anybody else wants to look at that that email, if you want to look at it yourself, Norma, but yeah, that would be something we definitely would have to gather up, would be trying to see if our any of our locations are even eligible for that.
Well, right now there are 5 national districts in the
Okay.
state, and the state, in the town.
Okay.
So that's not all the villages, but we could at least get those 5 up.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I can remember them off the top of my head. Anthony, South Main Street, a portion of South Main Street, Rice City, Hopkins Hollow, and I think there's a 5th one, but off the top of my head, I can't think of the 5th one. I have to look it up.
Okay. So I didn't go to the link that with more information on the program. So so maybe I can
Okay.
do that. I'll take
Yeah,
a look at
just,
it.
you know, it's just a thought. Maybe we could get started through them rather than run around making our own signs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, especially if there's a chance they will install, they'll make them and install them. I'm like,
Well, that's even better.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, it's worth looking into, even if we can just do those 4. I think there's a 5th one, but
Okay.
I can't think of it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, we'll see what we
Okay.
can see what we can find. Yeah, that alone is interesting, if those 5 districts, even if they qualified.
Yeah, it's just, you know, national district in itself, maybe.
Yeah,
You know,
and
the others aren't.
I don't know if it's a good, I don't know if it's a good thing or not that he said that no one else has applied in a long time, or they haven't given one out in a long time. So
Maybe
I don't know if
people
that
don't
means
know,
that the criteria is so strict or just nobody else is interested in this. So I guess
well,
that would go in our favor.
yeah, well, that's okay, because then they'll have a lot of money to make signs for us. I hope. Okay.
Exactly.
Right, so you're gonna look in that, at that, all right?
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good, thanks. And then the house plaques, Paul, have you resurrected any of that? Your,
The house signage,
yeah,
well, the woman that gave us the estimate on that, which was 2 years ago now, but that's irrelevant. She has not reopened her shop over here.
oh. Because of the pandemic, or they're just
you know,
gone?
No, right down the street. So I have not been able to stop.
No.
What's that?
Well, between pandemic and
So-
road construction, yeah, that's probably, yeah.
Yeah, with the road construction, everything there, they've got dirt piled in the parking lot, that's hers there and
Yeah,
everything else.
yeah.
So anyway, that doesn't mean that I can't, I do have her card.
Yeah.
And her phone number to I mean, we would have to put something out there to advertise to get people interested in it,
Yeah.
correct? Will we do that on, you know, in a few different sources? Would you do it on Facebook or, you know, in the Coventry reminder and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that?
Yeah, well, we have to have some sort of information, you know, like an application or whatever. I don't want to call it an application, but where they have to research their property. We're not going to research everybody's property.
Well,
So to the year that their house was built, right? That's what we're just doing circa or whatever year, or if it's somebody's name that goes on the house.
I mean, from what I understand, I mean, if you go into the tax assessor's office in there, in town hall and whatever, most people's house dates when they were built are on the record.
That's true, on the database, yeah.
That's how I found out when mine was built, you know, and
Yeah.
stuff. You gotta, I mean, if they're old, you gotta go way back, but most people do have a close approximation.
Yeah.
On their tax record when the house was built. So that's, I mean, again, I don't know how much work it is to find out, and what is the criteria? We haven't talked about this in a while, so.
Yeah. We're gonna have to talk about it again. What
Right,
would
we'd
the
have to
criteria?
create a criteria. We had said, as I remember, that it was gonna be 50 years or something like that.
Right,
We'd have to make that decision, you know, how do we use 1950 as a starting
Yeah.
point? You know, do we need to use 1940? We'd have to have that kind of criteria in place.
I'm
to
thinking
do it.
we had said 1949 when we first started.
So again, that would be part of what we'd have to write into the description of, you know.
So if
putting
somebody,
out there.
if somebody has a house that has a famous person attached, and they would, you know, sometimes you see in Wickford,
Right.
the captain who, you know, whoever house,
Yeah,
that would
the
be a different kind of
Hopkins,
thing.
you know, the Hopkins house or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
just the established blah, blah,
Yeah.
whatever the date or the year.
Yep.
Okay. Well, maybe by the fall, we'll have that, so we can get going on it, and
Yep. Would you, I mean, do you want me to contact?
yeah, if they're
this
still in,
person that does it to
Yeah.
see if she'd still be interested? I mean, again,
Yeah.
things have been on hold for people for so
So
long
long.
right now. You know, maybe she's not interested in doing it anymore. So
right,
I better call her and contact her and just see if we do initiate this thing, that she would be willing to do them for us, you
Yeah.
know, like we talked
I mean,
about. So,
I'm sure we could get it online, but it's nice to
yeah,
support
I'd
local.
right. We talked about that too. We'd rather have a local person doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I
if
will.
possible.
I'll contact her in the next week or so and try and see if she's, you know, when she's gonna reopen over here and, And if not, would she, I mean, I know she does a lot of stuff from home, so it's not that, because she has
Right,
2 kids
right.
now. She had another baby last year, so she
Okay.
has little ones, so
Probably still functioning, just not out of her store.
she's not out of business. She does a lot of stuff online.
Yeah,
I
okay,
did see her about a year ago, right after she had the baby. We stopped in, she was there one day, and she does most of her stuff online now, so I
Okay.
just want to make sure, we don't want to start this thing and then
no, no,
have
no,
to go, okay, who's gonna do
Right.
this? Because she says, no, I won't do
Right.
it, but I
right,
will
right,
contact her and talk to her and see if she's still interested, if we can get this in the works for, the fall.
okay, all right,
Okay.
okay, good, thank you. Then I just move on to new business, which we talked about the state grant, so we don't need to talk about that again unless somebody has a question about it. But the bylaws, when we started as a historic district commission, we had to have bylaws written. Well, we've switched to a preservation commission. Do we need new bylaws?
Who knows? Who do we
Can you
find that
explain
out
that?
from?
I'm not following.
Sorry? I'm
not
sorry?
following. Can you explain that
When-
again?
When we started this group, this commission, it was a historic district commission, which was that it would, at the time that we started this, was to be able to, for the town to qualify for these grants and other reasons that came with it. And what we needed at the time was a historic district commission, a historic district ordinance, and a local designated historic district. Well, the local historic district is Payne House in the fire dispatch building. So that was not a problem to get. The town owns the dispatch, and Payne House, obviously, they want to protect the house if they can. But in doing that, that makes the town eligible for these other things like grants and information that you don't get unless you're part of the CLG program. Well, as we went on, we kept trying to, why don't we kept trying to add historic districts in the town, but people weren't too keen on the idea, mostly because they thought the town was going to come in and tell them what to do with their property, and people said they don't want to be told what to do with their property. So we weren't very successful increasing or doing anything with other historic districts. So a little over a year ago, we proposed that we become a preservation commission, historic preservation commission, where we can do these things with the signage and the bridge and whatever. So it broadens our purpose. Where when just as a district commission, we were pretty much limited to historic districts. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
So we did like a switch over. So when the bylaws were written along with the ordinance and whatever, I think it was about 6 years ago now, they were written for a district commission, not a preservation commission. Now, I don't know if the bylaws would be all that different, but it is specific to a district commission, not a preservation commission. So I'm just wondering if they should be rewritten. Does everybody want me to send them a copy of the bylaws?
Yes.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, if you have it.
Because I don't know if it's different. And maybe it's just changing the name. I really don't know. And then who decides that?
Who's the lawyer? I don't know if he's a lawyer, but he gave counsel to the town council on
Oh, Nick
how to
Gorham.
interpret the charter and ordinances. I don't know his name. He's in
Is it
some of the
Nick?
town hall meetings.
Is
The
it
town
Nick
solicitor?
Gorham? Nick Gorham?
So you could say any name and I won't remember.
You're
But I
talking
know
about-
that they asked him to interpret things and he gives
Yeah.
the legal definition. He could probably
That's-
review that.
That's the town solicitor. The person
Okay.
that wrote the bylaws initially was Paul Sprague, who was in charge of the planning department at the time, who also has a law degree. So he's the one that wrote them and the ordinance initially, but he's retired. We could ask Nick Gorham.
Do you think you could ask Paul Sprague his advice?
Maybe.
I just ran into Paul last week, just by
Yeah.
chance.
And how is he?
Good.
Because I don't see him about town.
I have a little bit of a connection there. He is married to my wife's first cousin, so,
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he would do it. The
yeah.
only reason why I'm saying that rather than Nick Gorham, because I know he's busy with a lot of town things, and this might not take a priority. And it
Well,
shouldn't take a priority, but I'm sorry. Paul?
Once you send these, I don't trust it in what was going on in the historic commission, believe it or not, so.
Yeah, well, I'll send everybody the bylaws. I'll do that first. As far as Nick Gorham, the way it's been explained to me is he works for the council, not for everybody in the town. So I don't know. That's what I was told. So he works for the council, so I don't know if he would necessarily want to do this. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to ask him, but he doesn't always answer emails either. So if Paul Sprague wrote the first ones, maybe he could tweak it.
Yeah, and again, like I'm not kidding when the first thing he asked me was how the historic commission, our
Yeah.
group was doing and, what we were doing, and
Yeah.
he was very interested in it.
Okay. Well, he was when he was involved. I
And,
mean, yeah.
For that,
All right,
so
well,
anyway,
Yeah, I'll send it out
Wait,
and,
I don't think it doesn't hurt to give us some advice on it, and he might say,
No.
well, he can't, but
he might, yeah, but he wrote them initially, so maybe he could advise us at least.
well, I don't, the problem not with calling him, but for us to do it, the five of us, I don't think any of us are qualified.
No, but writing bylaws is not a simple thing.
No,
That's why I'm bringing it up. What do we do about it? Are we in default because our bylaws are not specific to Preservation Commission?
Mm.
I don't know. These are all technicalities I don't know anything about.
he might really enjoy the opportunity just to have a little input,
Yeah,
so who
yeah.
knows? It doesn't hurt
Yeah.
that. If I hadn't have run into him by chance, a week and a half ago, I wouldn't be saying this, but seeing how animated he became talking about the historic stuff and that,
Yeah.
he obviously enjoyed that, so he might like it,
Yeah,
so
okay.
that we
Well,
ask.
We'll try him, and then afterwards, if we don't, then we'll try Nick Gorham, and maybe he can suggest
Yeah.
somebody. I don't know,
That's a good choice too.
Yeah.
So,
you know? Okay, anything else? Anybody else have anything else they want to bring up? Any other questions or?
what about, on another subject or on that subject?
Well, the thing is, it's gonna be on the agenda.
Yep, no, it's on your agenda.
Okay.
The location for the collected artifacts.
Oh, yes. We have a room. Well, we don't have a room. The Historical Society has a room.
Right, but
We don't have a room, but the Historical Society has a room at the annex. I've seen it.
what are they saying about giving us a room so we have two rooms, one for them and one
Well,
for?
right now, they were only giving one room for the artifacts at the Summit Library. So technically, that room is the Historical Society room.
No, I understand. I just didn't know why they're telling you they won't give us another room to have for the town.
only
one.
They're only prepared to give us one room right now.
And this is in talking to the new town manager, is that who decided that?
Yeah.
Yep. I think we have to pressure him.
Well, right now, I just want to get the stuff out of Summit.
Yep. And
That's,
I know that's a whole different thing, so,
Yeah. everything's gonna come out of there.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm just happy to have a room for that, which has nothing to do with us. but it still doesn't help us in the few things that we're collecting, but not that we have a
Yeah.
lot, but
Yeah, I just didn't know what they were saying to you, if that was something that was just delayed and that's, sometime in the near future, we'd have a room or what, let me ask you this, because we can't keep doing Zoom meetings forever here. I'm hoping the next meeting is a face-to-face meeting where we can see each other.
Yep.
And as of whatever the date in July that the governor's order is lifted, and this farce of having Zoom meetings ends, we get together. Where are we going to meet when that happens? Has that been talked about since the planning department moved to where they are, and the building
that's where
inspector?
we've always met. We've always met at planning, so I'm assuming we're meeting at planning.
Yeah, well, have you been in the new planning department since they moved?
No.
It's complete. First of all, it's very compartmentalized into, so it's not like the other where the building inspector office moved, where we used to go. Where we had the room with the big table. So I'm only mentioning it because hopefully our next meeting can be a real in-person meeting, that because of the changes they've made, do they realize that we need a space to have our meetings in? They probably don't.
I'll find out.
Yep.
Find out. I just assumed it would be at planning again, but I don't know. I haven't been in there, so I don't.
And the only reason I learned, because I went in to get the topographical maps and the information on Harris that I have for when we start working on the bridge project thing. Possible location, but a meeting with Russ there, I was surprised because the other office was much more open and to me much more conducive to working with the public coming in. This one wasn't. It was really compartmentalized into small office things, which gives people privacy, I guess. But I didn't see a big room in there where we would have our meeting in there. So I'm only bringing it up because of, something that no one else is going to think about if you don't ask them.
Let John jump in. I think he might.
Yeah, so I will say I wasn't in the last offices very long. I think I was there for about a week when I first started, and then we moved over. And I will agree, this new office space, it does allow for a bit more privacy for each individual office. But if you continue down that hallway where all of our offices are, it does open back up, and there is a conference room back there. The same conference table, same number of
good.
and everything. So there will be a space.
Okay. All right.
And
Well,
if that's
then you
something
can-
that's been done in the past, I would imagine we would continue having meetings there in the future.
You can ask if we can meet there, because we're going to have some place to meet in person in the near future.
Right. Yeah,
So, and again, I was just concerned seeing how small meeting with Russ, not that small, I shouldn't say it that way, that it was compartmentalized into much more of office space type of stuff compared to how the other was much more of an open space type of thing.
in the back, the space is shared with the filing cabinets and everything, but I think you'll find that this space in the back, it opens up and it's bigger than our old conference room.
Oh, good. Well, if you've got the table that size in there, that's fine for us anyway, but I didn't know what they had done with that, with the building inspector office moving into the other.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't foresee a problem. There's plenty
Okay, that's good.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else? Nope.
Was on the agenda, you had historic cemeteries too. I
That's
didn't
an
know if
old
that was
agenda.
something. That's old. No, new
That's an old
business.
agenda. No, that's not on
Oh.
my agenda.
No, okay. So that's old.
Oh, I know Maureen had talked about it at the last meeting about,
Right. I didn't know if you needed to talk about that again.
no, not just yet,
Okay.
right now. I don't know what to do about the cemeteries because there's so many of them. We've got somebody's supposed to be mowing them and they're not, from what I can see. But anyway, we can talk about that in the fall. Everything's in the fall.
Yeah.
I just said everybody's busy in the summertime, so. Okay, anything else? Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next month is the meeting's July 2nd. 22nd, I'm sorry, I left out a two.
You just
I was
scared me.
like, wow. I left out a two, sorry. Hey. Stop. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna stop.
They object.
She's had enough. Okay, July 22nd, have a good 4th of July.
You too.
Yes.
It's hard to imagine it's already time for that.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Norma.